Okay, here's what I'm trying, because just now I've been getting some stability with having the webcam off. Hopefully that'll do the trick. Hopefully that is what we need. So we're just gonna see if this keeps us stable right now. In a stable orbit, we might even say. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going and see where we end up. Now, so there's a couple of missions that we can potentially do. One is put a station in orbit around Kerbin. That's one we'd like to try because we want to combine it with putting a Kerbal in orbit for 30 days and harvesting food in space. Those are 3 that we can do in one go. So that's something I want to design later. Now, this one is one we might be able to adjust, the Minimus one. We'd have to check. This is simply one we have to wait for. 18 more days, so no action needed. Now, exploring the Mun, return a Kerbin from the surface of the Mun. I'm going to do that. Here's the issue we had. We did do a landing mission earlier, but we didn't bring the ship that landed on the Mun back in one. So apparently, that didn't count for this. So we can go back to the Mun with an actual Kerbal. Build new surface outpost on Minimus. I think that's a longer term goal. That'll come later. Because we don't have any of the colonization stuff yet. This one is ongoing. Do I have a... Oh, there's my Kerbin alarm clock. Whoo! We have 14 days until we need to take an action. Spoiler though, that's not gonna go well. Oh wait, that's the Mun? Oh wait, this is a case of waiting. I was looking at this one already. That doesn't have the fuel to get there, but ongoing. And the other one is we need to launch a new rover. And situation landed. So we want a rover somewhere. Now we're gonna do a rover on the Mun to take those readings. And that will be just fine. And there's a case of saving a Kerbal from orbit. You can hear, and it is working. Okay, Zach, that's good to hear. It seems to be stable for so far. So it looks like what we're dealing with is a problem with the webcam and Kerbal. Well, that's alright. It just means I have to be a little bit more entertaining with my voice. No, I'm not going to do that the entire time. That's creepy. Okay. So, what we need to do is we'll check that satellite we have around Minimus and see if you can change its orbit to include a low orbit. That will automatically also attain this goal because of the orbit it is already in. So we can go to our Minimus scanner, and then I think we'll start with landing a rover on the Mun. So, to start with, let's switch to our Minimus probe. Now, let's see. By the way, Huthor, Byronic Books is now live as a... wait. Oh. I completely forgot we had a Kerbal stranded on the Mun that we needed to save. That is a new challenge. I like it. Kerbin biome in the Mun. Ah, we call it the urgent omelette. That's why I couldn't find this. Let's switch over to that one. But yeah, the Byronic Books. Fly it, please. Emote is now live for subscribers. So I'm very happy, and thanks to Huthor for getting that done. So, let's see. The biome scan is not completely done. Let's have a quick look as to where this thing will be flying past and how long that might take. We want to be on Minimus, yes, and we want to see the biome map. So, where is... Oh, we found an anomaly. Hello. So this thing is currently here. And I'm thinking it's moving in this direction. So it is scraping off little bits. How about we fast forward this? And we need to refresh it all the time. Okay, let's keep this as our live map. We'll fast forward to see how it's doing. Where is it right now? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, wait, we do see it moving over there. So this will give you the live updates. That won't, because we need to press to refresh. But this will give us a good indication as to what is going on. So the reason why I'm waiting for this is I would like a 100% scan of Minmus. 100% biome scan, and then we can change this orbit. Because we need it to be in a low orbit as well to fulfill the requirements of one of the missions that we have. But it's currently in high orbit. So I'll just have it shave off these little areas. There we go. We will very nearly. I'm sure I got some important message just now that I completely ignored. Oh, there we go. Kerbal biome scan sat. Let's ignore this one. So Kerbal biome scan sat. That is a thing that we may need to change the life support permissions on, because I don't want to get those messages all the time. I'm gonna keep, there we go, 97.7. That's the last filler, 99.8. Oh, there's been a problem solar panel on the Biomun, but we fixed it remotely, I think that's it. Okay, we now have 100%. So what we can do is we should be able to analyze the data now. Gets us 37.5 signs. You contemplate how fitting the name Greater Flats is as you pour over the data. Whoever thinks of these names is one smart Kerbal. Unlike the engineers we have around here. We'll keep that data and check that it's 45 megabytes. So, let's check our stats as we start transmitting this. 49.9. Now, we have a reasonably circularized orbit. So, what we can do is simply orientate ourselves in the retrograde direction. You need to get ScanSat? Oh, Zach, it is so much fun. What I really like about ScanSat is just it gives me a point of putting a satellite in orbit somewhere and actually doing something rather than a Kerbal. And that's, again, why I enjoy life support, because I couldn't have put a Kerbal in here just circling around for the time it took to get all this data. So that is one thing I enjoy about it. And that's why, combined with ScanSat, maybe even remote tech if you're up for some real hardcore stuff, this gets to be real fun. Okay, I wanted to hold on a bit just to see this give us a little bit more data, because I think you get that in chunks. Or don't we? Well, I guess we don't. 49.9, remember that. Oh, this is the one I want to do. So, enter and maintain a proper orbit for 75 days, orbit with at least 0.2 eccentricity. Now, our orbital data so far says our eccentricity is 0.002. That's because we're nearly circular. But as soon as I start blasting up in retrograde to lower our periapsis to, I don't know, 10k, you'll see that the eccentricity we've already met. But there we go. I think 20k will even be enough. We now have an orbit that meets the requirements of this mission. As you can see, fairly eccentric. Now, from what I understand, actually, in this ellipsis, because of the rules of orbital mechanics, I believe these are Kepler's rules, the planet has to be one of the focal points of this ellipse. Because an ellipse always has two focal points, probably here and here for this one. And our craft will orbit around this. And interesting enough, if you take an arc, part of the arc, according to one of Kepler's laws, then that arc will have a certain surface area. Let's say we take this bit and then draw an imaginary line to the center of that. The area that that triangle gets, if you continue that to behind, if you draw that line and you continue it to the part of the orbit behind it, one of Kepler's laws says that apparently the time it takes to cross this has to be the same as the time it takes to cross this. Which is, as far as I'm concerned, fascinating stuff. It's amazing how that works out. Okay, we're gonna fast forward 1 hour. Ooh, transmission of multispectral analysis has been sent. Oh, that's this one. So, 49.9. We got 84.7. That's good. Okay, so we are... Oh! Connection timed out. We have no control. Ah, darn it. That is a bit of a downer because we are not in view of anything. Not even... Do we not have... Oh! Okay, so this is an interesting problem that we're encountering. These antennae apparently don't have the strength to reach Kerbin. Because we're at Minmus range. These antennae have the strength to reach this scanner, which had a better antenna on it. There we go, there we go. Oh, apparently we were just out of range in that case. Perfect, we are still low enough to be getting magnetometer scan from low, as well as the radioplasma wave scan from low. Oh, we didn't have that. Weak radio wave emissions are detected above Minmus. Strangely, they appear to originate from a point slightly over the moon's surface. Dum 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 dum. So the magnetometer scan has no extra data for us, if I recall correctly. But that's okay. This one has now met its orbit requirements, and these two will check off these boxes, and then we just need to be here for 75 more days. So this one has run its course and will be fine. So, quick question to you. How many of you play Kerbal? So, I know then that Zakatak is playing Kerbal. Or at least plays or has played Kerbal. How many other people? Now, if you recall, the second thing that I wanted to do was do a Mun rover mission. Now, if I recall correctly, last stream, I'm exiting out here because I think last stream, didn't we land something on the Mun, or did we crash something on the Mun? I know we crashed something, but I don't know whether we actually ended up landing anything here. We apparently did not. This is the only place we'd landed something. That's our first, the Dick Grayson. So, one major problem that we'll be running into here is, for the time being, we'll be beyond the sun's reach. So, the natural conclusion is going to be, if we get a rover there, that rover may need to have some kind of generator, some kind of ability to generate power aside from the solar panels. Now this was the new rover that we made for Minmus, and let's face it, if this baby can hit Minmus, it should be able to reach the Mun, no problem. 6,700, I believe so. Now, what can we do? See, we have these batteries, these bunches of batteries, but here we have fuel cells and fuel cell arrays. Now, obviously, the fuel cell array is too big compared to the size of the rover. It is also real heavy. But the fuel cell needs hydrogen and oxygen to create an electric charge. Now, let's see. Removing this and assuming that I need to put this fuel cell somewhere. Where can we put it? It might be... Oh god, that thing is pretty hefty. It is pretty hefty, I can tell you. Let's see. It might be that the most realistic spot is to put this somewhere else. I'll just put that there for the time being. It's a little bit big. It's clippy. See, I can make this smaller, but what I want to know is how much generation does this give us? It does not feature this in there in the energy production because, of course, we have no oxygen and hydrogen. So if we do this, we're gonna need oxygen and hydrogen tanks. Let's say I put, there we go, this symmetry on there, and put, no wait, I wouldn't be able to. I need to put one here and one here for the simple reason that I need one to be oxygen and one to be hydrogen. And still, oh right, fuel cell running doesn't change the energy produced. What is the issue? Fuel cell, oxygen, hydrogen, produces water. Oxygen, hydrogen. Okay, I'm just gonna test. What if I put a supply container on the thing? Just anywhere. That supply container is purely to store water, but it is empty. No, that does not change this. This is getting tricky. Okay, here's how we're gonna change this baby. We are gonna be moving some things around. For one, these auxiliary solar panels that we had, I want to move them a little bit more to the side. Let's see, extend where they end up. They are the wrong way around. Let's pick those up and move them a little bit. Oh, wait. Okay, let's... There we go. Unclip them like that. So now, extend. That's a normal angle. Secondly, I want the potential safety of 2 additional, there we go, antenna over there. And lastly, we are going to be putting these two things here. Okay, there's oxygen in there, there's hydrogen in there, there's a fuel cell right there. The only thing we cannot really get rid of in a nicely symmetrical way is this gravity scan. That's a bit of a bummer. Everything right now has been symmetrical. Can we put this like there? It's ugly. It's ugly, but there we have it. So this gives it a oh look, 538. So what if I? Oh no. Of course, that is the weight because of these solar panels. Okay, the rover Mun mission seems to be a go. I think we are fine. Now, one problem, if you remember, that we had in sort of the mid-range of this launch was that the ship became a little bit unstable in higher orbit. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to try a different approach. Now, before I wanted a fairly steep gravity turn, but what I'm gonna do is see if we can just not click to the side and completely lose sight of where I am. No, that's not what I wanted to do here at all. There we go. What I wanted to do was go up fairly strongly. So, engaging rockets in 3, 2, 1, lift off. So we're gonna do the thing we've been doing before, which is give it slight. There we go. Whoa. It is already wobbling like a madman. I think that might be the flaps. Let's adjust those to 68 maybe. I wanted these to get me fairly high. Oh, that was the landing site from our first Mun mission, the return. Good memories. Whoa, there's the flip. There's that weird flip that I don't know why it happens. Okay, at least the effect seems to have been less problematic than before. Still not good. Definitely cost us some delta V. I just don't exactly know why it's exactly there that we have that kind of a flip going on. Oh, wait. I understand what's going on. We're hitting a higher atmosphere. We just have these winglets, and those rockets that we have there, I think, don't have gimbal. So because they're not gimbaled, we suddenly lose control at that point. That is, I guess, where we should have some RCS going. That's alright though, we'll I'm not sure how much we were penalized there, but I think we'll be okay. I mean, obviously we lost some delta V. We lost some massive delta V there. But as long as we can get a lot done on this stage that we have here right now, we are going to be fine. And we still have 2,500 left, which should get us into an orbit. Now you'll notice I'm blasting fairly in an upwards direction here. To be efficient, I'm going to try and keep our apoapsis about a minute away. There's no real science behind that, it's just I don't think I need more than a minute to do any course corrections if we need to. Okay, yeah, that's scan set adjustment. Because the basic rule of rockets is they don't get to space because their thrust is really high. They get to space because their thrust, their acceleration is really, really constant. It's persistent. So right now we'll have about 800 delta V left after getting into orbit, is what I'm estimating. Now I'm burning a lot of fuel still in the atmosphere, so that's less than efficient. Ideally I should raise this apoapsis a bit. Okay, I am fine with coasting a little bit till we reach our apoapsis, at which point we can leave. Now you can see that this thing is heating up because of course we're doing 2 kilometers a second in the atmosphere still. So that fairing is heating up fairly well, but it looks like our probe is still doing okay. Now, one thing I want to be sure of is our fuel cell is stopped. Okay, good. That's exactly what I needed to do. Now you can see the inefficiency here. While I'm doing nothing, our apoapsis is slowing down because we are getting drag. And speed's going down, so it is less than efficient because that lost speed we're of course going to have to gain again. But in my opinion, the benefit we get from firing this thing in a vacuum, our engine there in a vacuum, will outweigh the loss that we're getting here. It could have been done better, absolutely, but this is what we have. There we go. So, Zach is asking, are rovers useful for science, or do they take too long to move to different biomes? Well, let me put it this way. It depends on what your capabilities are. I think rovers are useful to get science because I work with the life support, which means that getting Kerbals there is more difficult than getting rovers there, and rovers can stay there longer. They are swifter than a Kerbal walking, so if you have a bunch of Kerbals there and you want to get to a different biome quickly, a rover is a good option. I think the most standard thing though for people is to simply make a craft that can take off and land and take off somewhere else and then do what they call biome hops. Particularly once you get once you can start digging for ore and you make your fuel on the spot, biome hopping is far easier. So I like rovers, but that's more because, you know, it's a preference thing. Set the Mun as my target. Ah, darn it, I just missed my opportunity to get a good encounter, didn't I? Actually, might not be a crazy idea. Seems to be about now, literally, that we can boost and get a nice encounter, but that's a little bit too much guesswork for me. I would prefer it if we... There we go. Closest approach. Where the target is. I would prefer it if we did a little bit more of a careful encounter.